this thing on? Because it's getting ready to be on.
Hello and welcome to Bell Ringer. My name is Greg. Your guest name today is Scott Stenclik, President and CEO of Aileron, a co-founder of the Stenclik Foundation, and a very active investor and member of Buffalo's entrepreneurial ecosystem. We talk about each of those buckets, why Scott believes so strongly in Buffalo, some of the impact he's had over the last few years, and maybe more importantly, what he expects and what makes him optimistic for the future of our region. Thanks so much for listening. So for those that don't know, what is Aileron?
Aileron is a comprehensive talent, business, and workforce solutions provider. We provide a variety of talent acquisition services. We provide high volume recruiting and very specialized executive search recruitment. We also provide outsourcing services in areas of supply chain management and information technology services. We've grown from a small operation founded here in Buffalo by my father in the year I was born, so I get to say it was in my blood since birth. And now we're a global organization with revenues of approximately $500 million a year. Yet we have a very local root here. We have a global presence, but our roots remain very strong here, and we've been headquartered here since inception.
Yeah, so you talk about that growth of the company. Buffalo Business First recently ranked Aileron as the fourth largest privately held company in Buffalo. You know, a few years ago, you relocated to 500 Pearl, beautiful new building, you know, with your name in the Buffalo skyline. So, you know, obviously the organization was founded here, as you just kind of took us briefly through the history, but why are you so committed to Western New York through a lot of those extra endeavors that you personally and the company participate in? As you've grown so global, you really stay rooted here in Western New York. Why is that?
Well, my family's from here. I think I'm a fourth generation Buffalonian. It's kind of hard to take the Buffalo out of someone. I've lived in a number of cities, including Philadelphia, New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, from where I moved to Buffalo. And I have a certain perspective about the region that perhaps a lot of people don't have if they've never lived outside of the area. I think we have a really strong understanding of the critical role this company plays in this community. I think the fact that we are very good at connecting talent with exceptional companies here in Buffalo is very good for business, is good for the community. And we're really committed to facilitating growth of the startup ecosystem here. I've been involved in that for over 10 years now, and I think that really is going to be a key to Buffalo's future. And when you look at the traction that this community has acquired over the past few years, it's really quite surprising. And to be in social settings, talking to venture capitalists on a regular basis in Buffalo, New York, it's really indicative of what's going on here. So I guess my answer to that is that it's easy to be committed to this place because, one, I'm here. Two, I very strongly believe in its future.
So I want to drill down, specifically into Aileron's work and labor market trends for a bit, and then, later talk a little bit more broadly about that startup ecosystem and your involvement. So, we were seeing a tight labor market before the pandemic even began, specifically within, like tech, finance, engineering. I think the pandemic has probably only exacerbated that, or, at least pushed it into the news cycle a bit more, and especially of late, you've seen it. How has Aileron had to pivot because of the pandemic and to just meet that broader challenge?
Well, we have operations throughout the United States, so it's just not this labor market that we operate in. So we have a greater pulse of the general labor market throughout North America and other parts of the world. One of the biggest things is that we have to become very agile and adaptive, and working remotely is very, very important to our operations. We stood up our organization to work remotely globally in a 2-week time frame with hardly a glitch. And I think it's great testament to our own internal IT capabilities that we're able to do that. we've been able to connect with individuals in the labor market to address some of the things that they seek in the next career opportunity. We've helped companies navigate this great change in the workforce that we're all experiencing. I've never seen such turbulence in the labor market in all my years of being in business through 2 careers. And I think that what we're able to do is still be able to connect our clients with really good talent, despite the demand for that, and come up with very creative ways of attracting talent and getting them to accept the opportunities that my clients present for them.
And we have our Be in Buffalo campaign, which yourself and your organization are a big supporter of and heavily involved. That campaign is focused on attracting talent to Buffalo to meet some of that demand, to meet that challenge. Workforce development and upskilling is a huge part of the equation, but there's the other side of the coin, which is attracting new people to Buffalo to live here, take jobs here. You just kind of listed some of the other cities that you've lived in and obviously chose to move back to Buffalo. What would your pitch be to specifically talent rather than business? Because I'll ask that question later, but to, a software engineer somewhere else in the country or a technologist, what's your pitch to relocate to Buffalo?
I think what we emphasize is the overall quality of life that an individual could have by staking their career in this community. And you were absolutely correct in your earlier comment. We either have to grow the talent or we have to import the talent. And we're very involved in this notion of repatriating Buffalo with technologists from other parts of the country. And we emphasize not just the opportunity that our clients present for career growth, but what the life experience is like living and raising a family in this community. People don't quite understand the nuance of that until they're here. And there's many a story that you've heard, and I'm sure you have, can share similar stories where people have come here kicking and screaming. And they're also the last ones that want to leave once they understand what the opportunities are here for having an overall great balance of the quality of life here. We have a wealth of resources in this community, and it's a community that's also very much punched above our weight and been able to provide arts, culture, other amenities in the community that many of the cities that are larger than us can't even compete with. And people don't understand that once they're here. We serve as ambassadors, brand ambassadors for the city. And we work very hard to communicate to candidates who are considering a career opportunity here to take a look, come with us, let us show you what it's about to be a Buffalonian. And we've had great success in being able to convey that message in a way that it resonates with people.
So the Be in Buffalo campaign of ours is helping to attract talent to Western New York. Our core work through Invest Buffalo Niagara is attracting new businesses to the region. And again, your organization and yourself are, hugely supportive of those efforts. This episode won't come out for a few weeks, but yesterday, we landed a big software development company that chose to relocate to Buffalo. They're Atlanta based.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah. So 150 software development jobs coming to Western New York. Your organization was a part of that and joined in on some meetings even when the company was considering Buffalo and did a region visit. But you just gave your pitch to talent, why to relocate to Buffalo. You're an executive at a top company locally, obviously had a lot of success growing a company. What would your pitch be on the company and business attraction side? What's the business case for locating an operation in Buffalo Niagara?
It is the strength of the workforce. It's the strength of the work ethic of the people that live here. And it's the grit that Buffalonians have like none other. And I think it is really a distinguishing factor. And there are many companies in the region that would echo those sentiments based on their own experience of taking a chance on this region, relocating here, growing their operations here, and ultimately thriving here. If you ask those companies what it is that made the difference for them, they'll mostly tell you the same thing. It's the people. It's absolutely the people of Buffalo.
And there's the business attraction efforts. There's also efforts, which you slightly alluded to earlier, of kind of growing our own new companies via the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Um, you've been a pretty key investor and one of the original investors and believers in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and tech ecosystem innovation economy here locally.
Mhm.
Tell us a bit about, I guess, the origin story of that, because I think today people understand the momentum we have, but from your vantage point, what was it like 15 years ago? And, you know, fill the folks in on some of what you're involved in from then up until today.
Sure, happy to. About 10, 15 years ago, there was no startup ecosystem in Buffalo. Very, very few companies were in the tech world. Most of the companies were very established organizations. They were not startups founded by entrepreneurs. About 10 years ago in particular, I became acquainted with an event called Bright Buffalo Niagara. It's an event that went on for a year or two. It was struggling financially, and there was a very strong likelihood that it would fail and simply fade away. I had an opportunity to collaborate with CBLS and UB to resurrect that or save it from fading away by becoming a very significant financial sponsor of that organization. And this is before there was a Launch New York. This is before there was a 43 North. This is before there was Endeavor Western New York. And I think that opportunity I had to prevent that one light from going out made a big difference. And we were sound supporters of that organization for a few years. We piqued the interest in entrepreneurship in the community by the companies that presented the Bright Niagara Buffalo Bright Niagara Forum. And I really think that it made a difference. From there, I became an investor, an angel investor in startups through Buffalo Angels and through several other private investments that I've made. I became a very involved supporter of 43 North, as well as Launch New York, both in terms of financial support and time contribution. I'm currently on the board of Endeavor Western New York, as well as Tech Buffalo, to continue to promote the growth of tech jobs in this community. It's made a difference in my life, and I think it's made a difference in the community. And now there are so many people that are involved in this endeavor, and we're working very hard together to continue the momentum that we've already started.
So, as someone that's seen that growth of the ecosystem, from your vantage point, what do you think is next? How do we build on this momentum?
I think we need to wash, rinse, repeat exactly what Invest Buffalo Niagara is doing. Bringing companies like Odoo to the organization, to the community, excuse me. Yesterday's big win that was announced. We need to continue to do that. As long as we have an array of opportunities in technology careers, we will attract people, we will attract investment. And after a certain point in time, it becomes self-fulfilling. And that's actually starting to happen here in Buffalo. There's an acceleration of the momentum that's really, really exciting. So we just have to keep doing what we're doing. Keep our head down, work hard, be accessible, and be supportive, and be able to succinctly convey the value proposition of staking your career or staking your company here.
Very well said. I want to pivot now. You and your family recently launched a charitable foundation. Tell us a bit about that.
So we launched last year the Stenclik Family Charitable Fund. It was an organization my sister and my brother and I founded to further support the philanthropic initiatives that my parents started. All of us were instilled with a strong sense of needing to give back to your community and helping others. And we felt that it was time for us to have more structure to our philanthropy from a family standpoint. So we founded the Charitable Fund that is dedicated to supporting a number of organizations in certain areas, being culture and science, educational opportunity, and thriving communities. But all those organizations have to have operations and be supportive of the Buffalo Niagara community. We are not providing any funding outside of this area. So we are from Buffalo, we are for Buffalo, we are dedicated to supporting Buffalo. And we think we've made a pretty positive impact already. We want to have an impact that will last for generations to come. We've already made 8 fundings of organizations to apply for grants online, and we're very excited about that. And if there's anyone at all in the community that's interested in finding out more about our fund, its pillars, and how to apply for grant online, I encourage anyone just simply go to stenclikfund.org. Our story is there, what our mission is there, and how to apply for support and funding is there as well.
I found it interesting, looking through some of the organizations that you've already supported to see the diversity of industry and impact that they have on Western New York. And you kind of listed those 3 pillars. I mean, how do you, as a family and a foundation now, kind of zone in on where you think you'll make your most impact?
We believe our most significant impact through a continuum will be in lifting up the opportunities for underrepresented populations. It's really important that everyone in this community has an opportunity to grow, to learn, to advance, and have an appropriate quality of life. So if you look at what we funded to date, you'll notice that there is strong representation from organizations that serve underserved communities, and that will continue to be a focus of the fund.
Right. And through the pandemic, kind of the last big question, and we have a blizzard round coming, but the last main question I've been asking folks, and I'll just toss it to you generally, what makes you optimistic about the future of Buffalo?
Natural resources.
It's a great answer. It's something I've been thinking a lot about, and we've been even talking about from a clean energy and climate change refuge.
Yeah, so I would say I'll even simplify it beyond natural resources. Water. We have a plethora of water. Water is going to become really important going forward. And I think that the location, the geographic location of our region, I think bodes very well with the fact that we have an abundance of natural resources to thrive relative to other communities. I think another reason why I'm really excited about Buffalo's future is its location and representation to Canada and to the greater Toronto area. The GTA is an amazing economy. And I think that as time goes on, our economies will become more linked than they've ever been in the past. And that is a great opportunity for this city.
Very much love that answer, because we've been talking about this climate change refuge idea and safety from natural disasters, the abundance of fresh water. And I know this episode will come out in a few weeks, but this Monday celebrated the reopening of the U.S. border to Canadians. So 2 very timely answers. Thank you very much.
Happy just to provide those. As I tell a lot of people, and I've lived in areas where earthquakes are very common. I never experienced an earthquake in my life until I moved to California, and between living in San Francisco and Los Angeles, I've experienced several of them. And I just tell people, snow melts.
Snow melts. Well, very well said. Before I let you go, I'm very grateful for your time. We always end on a couple hard-hitting blizzard round questions. So if you were a flavor of ice cream, what would you be?
I have honestly never been asked such a question.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's a unique one. I would be mocha chip.
What's a book or TV show that you would recommend?
A book or TV show I would recommend. A TV show I would recommend would be having trouble remembering the name of it. It's a very dystopian show on Hulu, The Handmaid's Tale. Some scary connections to what goes on in that show to what's going on in this country.
Very great choice. How about which do you prefer, text or phone call?
Text.
Bills or Sabres?
Both.
Hiking or skiing?
Both again.
And last question, most important, chicken wings, drumstick or flat?
Drumstick. Absolutely, all the way.
Fantastic choice. Thank you very much for your time today and everything you do for the Buffalo community. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today, Greg, and I appreciate the opportunity to support this region. I am passionate about this region, as is my family, and we look forward to continuing to invest in it as time goes on.
Bell Ringer is a podcast by Invest Buffalo Niagara, the region's privately funded, nonprofit marketing and economic development organization. Please rate this podcast, follow our social media channels, and read our blog at buffaloniagara.org for the best of Buffalo Niagara. Come grow your business with us.